Welcome to the third season of the Nidd's Whitelist server.
Alright, KP Wayne, for your immature behavior earlier on, I'll have to do this to you. I'm sorry.
You were kicked from the channel.
Yeah, I hope you appreciate that. Okay, thank you, that was lovely. I hope for him, it was kind of painful for me. I was kicking viewers from the stream. Not literally, though. Just, you know. I'm kind of stuck. I didn't know how to connect this thing here.
A lot of time invested in a very childish joke. Well, what else do you think we do here in the Nidd?
The entire Nidd is just a childish joke that's taken too long. Pretty much.
By assuming we wouldn't investigate a lot of time in a childish joke, you would be assuming that, well, we actually do sensible things. And useful things.
Do we?
Yeah, occasionally while attempting a childish joke, we run across having done something sensible, which surprises us.
Yes, but that happens rarely, though. Usually we're just wasting our time.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure.
As well, everyone here is afraid of having a life, because having a life is, well, scary, you know. Very dangerous for your health.
It usually ends deadly.
Yes. Has deadly consequences.
Is there nothing that could work as a railing for a diagonal block? Why hasn't Keen added this yet? Why do I need a short version of the railing they have, but not like a diagonal one? What is wrong with them?
You know, there is this mod that adds, you know, the railing blocks that you have in the game. Normally it's not the catwalks, but the railing. I know there's a mod that adds more variations of those, so you can make every shape with them, aka also the angled ones. I'm somewhat surprised that something like that isn't vanilla yet.
Instead they add things like the fighter cockpit and that's it forever.
Yes. I would also very much like to see armored thrusters to be in vanilla. I actually wouldn't mind seeing more types of thrusters in general.
Well, they've given you atmospheric thrusters and hydrogen thrusters, be happy. Is what Keen would probably say.
I don't think I can agree with Keen, because the hydrogen thrusters aren't thrusters, they're boosters. Because if you would use them as thrusters only, you run out of fuel before well, especially on planets, if you use them as fuel, you'll crash in minutes, if not seconds. So if anything, they should function as boosters, not really thrusters. But I do have somewhat of a problem with the atmospheric thrusters. That regardless of how much I like the atmospheric thrusters, I think they look very good. But the issue is they don't fit with every single block surrounding it. Round shapes in where everything is square doesn't really fit. You get what I mean?
I do, but well, you know, Keen. They know what's best for you.
It's very strange to see a round shape in a square hole.
What? What?
They added a mini catapult to the forest.
Yes, they did.
What are you going to use a miniature catapult for?
I don't know. Why are we cutting down the entire forest in the forest? On that note, if anyone here plays the forest, the strongest weapon in the forest is a rock. Forget all other weapons.
Yeah, the upgraded rock is OP.
Yes, very OP.
What the hell? Sal has 2 additional blocks. No, sorry. 2 additional buttons for rotating blocks? It's weird.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know.
Strange.
She has a weird keyboard, though.
Well, I suppose I could argue that fits with a strange person. But I still would like to know, though, define odd keyboard, because I'm now almost wondering how can you make a keyboard odd?
Do you know the numpad to the right?
Yeah?
And the part where there's the delete button, the insert button, the home button,
Uh-huh.
and the arrow keys?
Uh-huh.
They're all in the numpad. They're both the same thing.
Really?
Yeah.
That's, interesting.
Ugh.
Is it an older or a newer keyboard?
I suppose it's a newer keyboard. It's called ARVO, and it's a compact gaming keyboard.
Ah, that may explain a thing or two. Because I know that more compact gaming keyboards are somewhat getting more popular, but personally I still prefer a normal keyboard, considering if you have a more normal gaming computer, I usually don't see the issue with having a larger keyboard with a shit ton of buttons, considering, well, you have to root for it after all. You're on a desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer my mechanical keyboards, regardless of how loud they are.
Yeah, mechanical keyboards do a lot of clicking. You know exactly when you press it.
Razor to clean.
That there too. I've also once had, it was one of the earlier versions, so I don't remember what brand it was, and it didn't work that well, but it was one of those mechanical keyboards that could determine how far you were pressing in the button as well. So you know how with controllers you have a much better, finer control over, for example, wheel motion? Because you can determine how far the wheel has to rotate instead of just rotating full away because you pressed a button.
Yeah.
Yeah, the keyboard had a similar function to what controllers can have, in that, depending on how far you press the button, it could determine, well, in a sense, how far you were pressing in the button, so how hard it had to steer. But of course, that only worked for games that were programmed to do so. But like I said, the keyboard didn't really function long. It was one of those cheaper, earlier ones. On a note though, I probably do need a new keyboard. My keyboard is getting very old. And you know where your keyboard is getting old if pretty much all the letters are starting to disappear.
Yeah.
KP Wayne says that he was originally going to say... Hold on a second, I forgot to press the button. KP Wayne says that he thinks he actually never really used a mechanical keyboard, then he remembered that he learned to type on a typewriter. So he did. Sorry, carry on. Didn't want to interrupt you.
Or you weren't interrupting.
Kind of was. Anyway.
I disagree.
Okay.
So we'll agree to disagree, unless we now agree that we no longer disagree.
Didn't we already have that conversation at some point?
Yes, we have, but it was about a different topic.
Okay, I see. Carry on.
Do you see or do you hear?
I felt it.
Okay, you felt it. Good.
That's creepy.
Well, technically, that's how your ears hear. Your ears get moved by the airwaves, so technically it's touching. So, yeah.
I'm getting touched by sound.
Technically, though, you can't be touched at all because there is a magnetic field around everything, and that's why you can't pass through other objects. So technically, you're never actually touching anything because the magnetic fields are simply not allowing you to touch. So think about that. You're floating on your chair right now.
So when they say when pigs fly, pigs aren't really flying.
Yes. Technically, everyone is flying because no one can touch anything except themselves.
Isn't it more floating than flying then?
Yes, I suppose that is true because technically.
Okay, well then the next best answer is when you see a cop in a helicopter. That's a big one.
Okay. You know, the next time a cop pulls you over and asks you how fast you were driving, I would respond with, "I wasn't driving at all, sir. I was floating."
Well, he's going to arrest you then, for sure. Just so you know.
Well, probably not for driving too fast. Probably for having a mental disorder.
Ah, that last
And then you
sounded
try
mean.
to explain to him the science behind it, and he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
I know, right? Best tactic with every cop: get them completely distracted of what they're actually pulling you over for, and make them confused.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab some orange juice.
You know, that just reminds me of a horrible joke.
Do tell.
Well, you already know the joke.
Oh, he's grabbing a glass of juice.
Yes. You know, I bet that there are some people in the stream now wondering, what about a glass of juice? What is wrong with a glass of juice?
Well, just as you asked that, said that, KP Wynn was asking what the joke is.
I know. Well, the joke is, what if Hitler said to his officers, "Grab me a glass of juice," and they understood gas to juice? There you go, horrible joke complete.
Well, they're really hard of hearing if that's what they think that he said.
I know, but it's very close.
Well, I admit, I was a few days ago, during one of Sal's recording sessions, I was inclined to make a terrible joke about how it would have been funny how Hitler killed 6 million Jews if he just accidentally did it with his fat. As in, imagine Hitler as a really fat guy who accidentally rolled over 6 million Jews. I'm waiting. I know. I'm waiting for the viewers to drop out.
I'm having trouble picturing that in my head.
Yep, there we go. I was right.
For some reason, I'm imagining pretty much Hitler's head on an extremely round ball. With a military suit on.
KP Wayne just got a good joke himself.
Well, you announced it, you have to read it now too, I'm sorry.
He's saying that your joke was terrible because of his grandfather that died in the concentration camp in Germany.
Guard tower.
Yep, and broke his neck. Yay.
I have to admit, at first I felt really, really bad because I thought he really died in a concentration camp. What if he really did that too, and I'm currently making it worse?
Well, I've met most Jews I've met can take the joke.
What about Germans hearing Nazi jokes?
I've had very mixed opinion of those. I know quite a lot of Germans in real life that have absolutely no problem with the oh my god, you used to be Nazi jokes, but there are still a few that are touchy about it, like, oh my god, I want to forget that past.
Ah.
I don't know what your experience is with since you live in Germany.
Funny about that?
What?
What?
That most of the people that have that issue weren't alive then.
Well, that is somewhat my argument, usually against it as well. I'm in no means implying with the joke that it shouldn't, or that it shouldn't have been taken seriously in that sense, but at the same time, there aren't many people alive nowadays that were really extremely involved in it. The majority of people that encountered the situation now were very young then and are extremely old now. There are still, of course, a few that have experienced it. But overwhelming majority of Germans probably never experienced it. So I'm willing to bet the overwhelming majority of them are not Nazis, for example.
Then there's that weird Nazi party in the U.S.
You pretty much have Nazi parties in every country.
They're not real Nazis.
No, they're just more racist.
That's racist of them.
Yes, it is. I would call them racist, but I think everyone already agrees on that, so...
Well, reminding them doesn't hurt.
I suppose.
I like KP.
But I think that I'm quite sure they're quite aware of it themselves. I just think they don't care.
I like KP Wayne's approach on jokes. He says that it's simple, nothing is off topic, a joke's a joke and not real life.
I agree with Wayne on that. On that note, though, Mir, I do have to ask, since you live in Germany, what is your experience with Germans' opinion on the Second World War, or, well, Nazis more specifically?
It's alright unless you talk with somebody who's older than...
But is it like
60, 70? It's usually frowned upon to talk about that in public. You can make jokes about it with your friends, but as long as it's not anywhere where anybody else could overhear it. But if you talk about it, usually most people aren't... They're not going to show you out the door just because you did it.
Well, like I said, I personally somewhat have the experience, though, that from the Jews I've met versus some Germans I've met, I've actually met more people who weren't in any way, shape, or form related to the situation that got more offended than the people that were actually related to the situation. AKA, I've met people that are like, oh my god, you can't joke about the Second World War, and it's like, you're neither German nor Jews. And when I talk to Germans or Jews, they both don't care.